What do you think about Trump wanting us to forget about him being in the Epstein files, Mother?
Trump is not in the Epstein files, man.
That's weird how he's trying to cover it up, though, isn't it?
He
Wants
is
us to
not.
forget. He literally said he wants us to forget about it. It's a little
What
odd.
he's saying is
Epstein files might be the only thing that could break the MAGA movement because it hits at their foundational myth.
As the MAGA regret list continue to increase, how long do we give this woman before she is hit with instant karma? Anyway, let's hear what people have to say in relation to MAGA and Trump and all the things that are related with the Epstein file.
Huge breaking news right now. This may be Donald Trump's worst nightmare, as Ghislaine Maxwell says she's ready to reveal the Epstein list to Congress. Now, this comes to us from the Daily Mail, who says that Ghislaine Maxwell is ready to talk during a time where Donald Trump is trying to shut the whole Epstein thing down, telling his supporters, look, there's no Epstein list, stop asking about it. There is an Epstein list, but it was created by Biden and company, so stop asking about it. But now, the one person, Jeffrey Epstein's girlfriend, the one person who is behind bars for this whole fiasco, is now ready to spill the beans. Now, according to the Daily Mail, Congress is blocking her. The Republicans specifically do not want her to testify. Now, there was allegedly a plea deal to get her to talk, but her and her lawyers are saying, no, that never existed. This is a huge development. And if the Daily Mail's reporting is accurate, Donald Trump may be in a worse position than he was before with his supporters, because now if he doesn't allow her to talk, then they are going to push back and say, hold on, what are you hiding?
Guys, the Trumpers are waking the fuck up right now with the Epstein shit. I am seeing so many different lives, so many different people making posts. They're fucking pissed. Trump ran on releasing the Epstein files, and now he's fucking tweeting, stop talking about fucking Epstein. And they're seeing through the bullshit. The amount of lives I've seen pop up lately that are like Republicans against Trump, like I regret my vote, burning MAGA hats, like the cult members are leaving the cult. And we've been seeing this for months now. We have been seeing people regret their vote, switch their party, like dropping like flies right and left. But with this Epstein stuff, it has plummeted. It is skyrocketing. I think people are finally starting to see that both the Democratic Party and the Republican, like, entrenched, like, systems of power that we've had as our two-party system, both of them are corrupt as fuck. They don't work for the people. Whatever side of the aisle you're on, I think most people realize that the system isn't working for them at this point. There is so much fucking money in politics and so much behind the scenes deals and fucking blackmail, dirty money. Neither fucking side works for us. And just every day I am seeing more and more people willing to work together to build a new system. And man, is it giving me so much fucking hope and fueling me right now.
You say Donald Trump said, well, in 2016, Donald Trump said that he would release his taxes. Did he? No, he lied. In 2016, Donald Trump said he would build a wall with Mexico and Mexico would pay for it. Did he do it? No, he lied. During his term, he promised a health care bill. Did he do it? No, he lied. During his first term, he promised an infrastructure bill. Did he do it? No, he lied. He said he didn't have anything to do with Stormy Daniels. Then it was proven that he had an affair with her and paid to cover it up. He lied. In 2014, Russia invaded Ukraine and Crimea. Trump was president during the war. Did he stop the war then? No, not only that, but he was impeached for illegally stopping congressional aid that would have helped Ukraine fight the war. So no, he was not going to stop the war in one day, and we knew that because it was proven. You say you wanted him to cut the deficit. Donald Trump in his first term ballooned the deficit more than anybody in modern American history. So no, he was not going to do that. You say Donald Trump, well, at least he's being good on immigration. Legally, Joe Biden deported 4 million people. Donald Trump, 1.7 million his term. Joe Biden was much tougher on immigration than Donald Trump. So no, he's not even better on immigration. And now let's talk about this Epstein list. You say you're not going to let go because Donald Trump said that he would release the Epstein list, and you're a real man, so you believed him. You didn't consider the fact that Donald Trump is convicted of 34 felonies for libel regarding sexual assault. You didn't consider the fact that Donald Trump is on the Epstein flight logs. You didn't consider the fact that Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein are photographed and videoed together for years, that Epstein said that Donald Trump was his best friend. You didn't consider the fact that Donald Trump is named by one of Epstein's assailants as another assailant in court documents. You didn't consider the fact that the man that let Jeffrey Epstein off the first time with a sweetheart plea deal that he didn't even tell the victims, that Donald Trump promoted him to Secretary of Labor. You don't consider the fact that Donald Trump made Attorney General the man whose father first hired Epstein? You don't consider the fact that Donald Trump made Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's neighbor, the Commerce Secretary now? You don't consider the fact of all those connections or Donald Trump's court-proven misdeeds in sexual assault? That didn't cross your mind that, well, maybe I shouldn't believe him about Epstein? You don't get to hide from the truth, Andrew, when you're a real man. Donald Trump lied for 8 years. We have the receipts. It was proven, and we were all telling you. So no, it's not true that you didn't know what Donald Trump would do. We told you exactly what he'd do because he did it. You chose, big man, what is happening right now because you wanted to feel tough and masculine, that you don't have to care what other people think because Donald Trump, I just do whatever he says. You're a goddamn fool, Andrew. And this is one man who is never, ever going to see you as anything but a pathetic little boy until the day you own up to the fact that you chose to be deceived and you take some responsibility for your actions. Epstein files might be the only thing that could break the MAGA movement because it hits at their foundational myth. Now, most socioeconomic political parties or movements are based on principles, whether it's capitalism, communism, socialism, Marxism, whether it's trickle-down economics, or whether it's social services or mundane tax law. It comes from some sort of principle, the belief that here's how societies are structured, and if you use government and resources in this way, this is the outcome you'll get. MAGA is entirely personality-based. It is a cult, which means it needs a foundational myth. And every cult, and you can see this throughout history time and time again, it's like a how-to manual, every cult is based on a foundational myth of disbelief, meaning a foundational myth that is so grandly unbelievable that everything afterwards seems believable. That is how a cult leader's soul captures followers who are willing to disregard self-interest or reality to continue to follow the leader. In the case of MAGA, it is Pizzagate. We forget because of the compressed timeline that social media creates, where 10 years feels like a lifetime. It wasn't that long ago that MAGA didn't exist. QAnon didn't exist. It all started in 2016 with Pizzagate, which was the predecessor to QAnon, which became MAGA. Pizzagate was a psyop from the Trump campaign. What was it? They took Anthony Weiner's laptop and hacked John Podesta's emails and said, oh my God, look at this. And we looked at it and said, what? These are like super boring campaign emails. And they said, no, look, it's code. We said, where's the evidence of the code? What's the code cracking tool you used? What letters become what to make it a code? Well, we don't know any of that, but it's code that there is, in fact, a giant organized child sex trafficking ring of which there are no victims. There is no evidence. There is no testimony. There's not a single email or text amongst all these grand players that organize it other than this code we're saying is code that even though there's no evidence it's a code. In fact, it takes place in the basement, and the basement doesn't even exist. If you believe that, you will believe anything. And what that allowed MAGA to do, the power behind the MAGA movement, is it allowed those cult members to feel like righteous warriors. They were fighting to protect children. In fact, we don't even know exactly where this is taking place. It seems invisible in the dark, which makes it all the more noble to stand up against it even when there's no evidence for it. That is fundamentally at the core of the MAGA movement, even if they have forgotten what spawned them. So now what happens when those MAGA people who righteously believe that they are the ones fighting against pedophilia and child sex trafficking? What happens when they confront the fact that there was a cabal of rich, powerful people running a child sex trafficking ring? And there are victims who are verifiable. There is testimony in court by those victims. There are named assailants. There is video. There are lists. There are flight logs. There are communications. What happens when we find out that absolutely for a fact we know the players involved were the child sex trafficking ring, and it is the exact people that told them their foundational myth of disbelief? That might be the thing that penetrates to their heart and soul when they understand that they are not fighting a righteous cause, that they are in fact the enemy to the very righteousness they wish to possess. That might crack them.
Stop criticizing Trump over the Epstein list. That document could very well become a threat to his life. You need to trust that the list went away for a good reason, even if it's not what we wanted.
When people ask me, hey, Eric, why don't you have more sympathy and empathy for Trump supporters? This is why. Because it wasn't enough that he would grab people it wasn't enough that he walked into Teen Miss USA. Now it's not enough that he is potentially and most likely on this list. So for people that say protect the children, I want to make sure the children are not reading books about two mommies, and yet they're saying this, you don't care about the children. And so I have no sympathy or empathy for you. Okay? Good talk. Bye.
I'm not turning on Trump. I don't say I'm a MAGA. I think that's so stupid. But I'm not turning on Trump like you all did.
All right, if you're staying loyal to Donald Trump throughout this Epstein list process, you're a MAGA. If you stayed loyal to Donald Trump after he said that dead veterans were literally suckers and losers, you're a MAGA. If you watched him celebrate dictators like Putin while also simultaneously saying Democrats in America need to be locked up, you're a MAGA. If you stayed loyal to Trump after 3 indictments, 2 impeachments, and 1 insurrection, you're a MAGA. If you stayed loyal to Trump after he mocked a disabled reporter, you're a MAGA. If you own any sort of Make America Great Again gear, you're a MAGA. So when you sit here and say that you're loyal to Donald Trump, but you're not MAGA, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, lady.